has to put everything together. They have to get raw materials from all over the world. They need foundries for cast iron. It's a big enterprise, it's big business, it's an industry more than a craft. Although requires special attention to be made right. Here is the entire action of the piano. And also in the light side, in the fashion side, in the aesthetic side, the piano is the only instrument that really adopted a lot of different furniture styles. Why? You want to put it in the living room. So we have a piano with the shape of a harp. Look at that one. You have a piano for two monks that wanted to play together. We have a piano for a palace. We have a double piano for a piano duet. We have a transparent piano. That's the 500,000 model of a Steinway. This looks like a blow dryer, and it's absolutely outrageous. But they are all pianos inside, have the same thing. But in the most simple design, which is beautiful, every curve, everything there has to adopt to strict rules of engineering and acoustics. All the strings pulled together on the tension, which is 45,000 pounds, can pull a yacht out of the water. I mean, it's a contraption, but it played. And the basic concept on this little thing there are exactly the same as this super modern carbon fiber action that could do absolutely everything. We can say that Mozart adopted whatever he had on hands and played and composed for them. On the other hand, Beethoven never composed for the piano of his time. He hated the piano of his time. And actually he died without having the kind of piano that he needed for his music. So we have some composers that adopted to what they had and composed for that. And other composers that compose pure music, what they had in their head. Were not for Beethoven, the piano will still be like Mozart. He was the actual centerpiece in the evolution of the piano. Why? He was the main composer at the time and probably the main composer of all times. And he basically pushed the piano makers to make a better piano that will go with the new kind of sound that he started. So let's go back in time some 350 years. Many people believe that the beautiful, elegant, sweet, rather metallic harpsichord is the ancestor of the piano. Not real. This is a plucked instrument. To sound, it has to be plucked. The string, you have that plectrum is called there. You press the key here, this rod goes up, pluck the string, comes down, and the plectrum receives. Simple action and beautiful music by Bach and so many others, Vivaldi, were written for it. But it had a real problem. It was not expressive, could not have dynamics. You couldn't go increasingly loud or decreasingly soft. You could press a pedal and it would be loud or soft, but you couldn't do anything in between. This is the real ancestor of the piano, believe it or not. The sitar is the European instrument because it's the first instrument we know of in which the strings are pounded instead of plucked.
Right. Before the clavichord.
There you go. Of course. That is the dulcimer. You take a dulcimer, which is a kind of sitar, you put a 4.5 octaves keyboard on it, and we have a clavichord. The clavichord was the most popular instrument of the time because the harpsichord was too expensive, only royalty could buy it. It will be similar to $1 million today. So Bach and Mozart and all the composers of the time had a clavichord, simple, cheap, and they compose all their music there. It has a very simple action. You press the key here, and this metal blade goes up and strikes the string. So, the good thing is that you could play softly or loud. That's a hard thing, but I'm going to explain why. This is Mr. Scarlatti. He had a clavichord, of course. He was teacher of royalty. He was the teacher of the Queen of Spain. See the musicians on the balcony entertaining the guests. Music was considered something in the background just to light up the party. No people will sit and listen to anybody. And the lady of the palace will entertain in her cembalo, her ladies in wait, and that was pretty much it. But things started to change, and they will start changing very rapidly because the Italians had invented the opera. Opera was a great spectacle. People were amazed. They were passionate about it. The prima donnas will show up with all the drama and sing, and it will be killings on the stage. People will get killed by the second. It was unfaithful husbands or unfaithful to wives, and a lot of going on there. Opera changed the taste of music. It put it on front stage, music as something that people will basically sit, listen, have fun, have amusement, and all that stuff. Look at that. Well, for us it's not a big deal, but for the year 1595, when this opera was made, the people couldn't believe it. They never have seen something with so much fun. That's from Orfeo and Eurydice. From what? Orpheus and Eurydice. Well, this is a modern version, of course. You can imagine how many things they could do.
Wow, look at that.
So, the clavichord, the cembalo will not make it. He didn't have enough spaghetti in the sauce for the Italians. So, this is Ferdinando III de' Medici, a big patron of the arts. He had at home in his palaces, multiple palaces, many cembalos, many clavichords, many works of art, and he was ready to finance the finding of that instrument that could sing, that could be more melodic, more dramatic. Everybody was trying to make one, they didn't know how. So he was traveling to Padua, to the Carnival of Venice one day. He stopped at a friend's house, and he told him, I need somebody that could do an instrument that could sing. The music is changing. The guy that you just saw is Bartolomeo Cristofori, the inventor of the piano. He hired him. He was living in Padua. He took him to his palace, and right away, he started his invention. His basic invention was this mechanics that I tried to mimic here. It was a real revolution for the time. The basic thing was to make the hammer go up, come back without killing the sound. While the lever here will go up when you press the key also. There you go. Now you are going to see how it works. This lever goes up and let the string vibrates, and when the hammer goes down, because you lift the key, it will kill the sound. It's called an escape action. And it's the very, very first one that we know of that could do the same thing of the modern piano. We are listening to a recording of one of Cristofori's pianos. This is one of the 3 only surviving instruments out of 20 he made. It had 4.5 octaves. It had knobs on the side to control. It had 2 strings per note, so with that knob you could move the keyboard left or right and play in 2 strings or 1 string. Besides, for more or less sound. Besides the fact that depending on how soft or strong you play, it will go up and down the sound. However, listen to its sound. It doesn't sound that much different than the clavichord. Okay? This is the museum that is in Germany in honor of Gottfried Silbermann. He was a very famous and the finest harpsichord maker in Germany. That's one of his instruments, a beauty. He will cater to royalty and nobility and the church, and he will also make beautiful organs. Look at that, it's gorgeous masterpieces as an organ. The guy was very enterprising, very good at his job. He was not just a maker of harpsichords, he knew how to sell them. And he was well known all over Europe. One day he was reading a magazine of the trade, 1 year after the death of Christopher. You know, his anniversary, a friend of him, Maffei, published this in a trade magazine in honor to his friend. And, you know, Silbermann looked at it, and the first thing he did is copy it and tried to do one like that. Okay? He did 2 actually. He did some improvements of his own, because he knew a lot, you know. As I said, he was the best of the best. And as soon as he finished those 2, he called a friend to try it. He knew everybody. So the friend was nothing less than the father of the music, as we said, Mr. Johann Sebastian Bach. Come and see what I did, he said. He never said to anybody that he had copied anything. Well, Rome moved for Silbermann. Bach hated it. He said, no way, it's impossible to play, let me alone. I mean, do something to it, because otherwise this is not going to be good at all. So he was very remorseful, but he had to say to his friend the real thing, that's reality. So Silbermann went back to the shop, did some modifications, did good modification that made it lighter, and this time Bach actually said, okay, this is good, now we are talking. Maybe he was able to do it from 6 ounces to 4, maybe 3, okay, but it's still heavy. Bach never played it, he didn't like it anyway. Of the hammer here, there is this beak here that gets trapped on this reel, okay? When you press the key, this goes up, and the trap will sustain for a second the hammer and let it go like in a sprint. Very simple action and very light. Didn't require really much of a lever. He basically did without the lever that Cristofori had invented in his escape action. We are going to see it in action. So it was a brilliant solution. There you go, that's the way it works. Very light, you don't have to do nothing. Probably lighter than a modern piano.
Oh, yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
45, 30 gallons.
So that really caught, and Stein did the finest pianofortes of his time. At that time, a superstar showed up, Mozart. Since he was a child, he will do all the circus tricks in the piano. He will play a song upside down. The people will tell you, okay, do fugue, bass, and C, F, and G. And he will do full fugue in the morning. I mean, the guy was incredible. He, at the beginning, also worked only for the clavier. I mean, did music